Is Dr. Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2018 Innovation Award winner. Oh, you know what? I got something here. Hold on. I know what I did. Conversations 2018 Innovation Award winner. Oh, you know. Okay, that's better. I know what I did wrong. Had a tab open in the other. So let's do it all over again. Good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Vibe, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Epic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care, and being part of that movement, we've reached out directly and indirectly to over 500,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers around the world. So Ron caught my disease for a second. And as always, good to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And good morning, Mr. Knight, and also special guest, Jonathan Juiceman Shaw. What's going on?
Great, man. How you doing?
Always good, always good. Good to see you. To start the day with the right morning vibe. I still need to get my cup, actually. So this weekend is my mission.
Uh-oh. The threat is
my
here.
Morning cup.
All right. So,
and Juice Man, we'll get you a copy too. You have to order a few more.
Yes.
Hold on.
For
you want to see a cup? You want to see a cup? Hold on.
Oh, yes. Well, there you go. It's actually right off the bat. It is Father's Day this weekend.
Yes.
It is Father's Day. Love that. Love that. Love that. Gentlemen,
Perfect
what's going on in both your worlds?
But for those that couldn't read it, what did it say?
Oh, bruh, formerly known as dad.
Where'd you get that from?
I got it for Father's Day. I think it was like last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what's been going on in everyone's?
I hate being.
I had to correct my daughter too.
That's what I get called 90% of the time, bruh.
Right.
Could you imagine when growing up, or well, I can't even do it now, but growing up, if we called our dad bruh?
Must get a beating, a whole bag of beating.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah. So what's been going on in everyone's world since we last got together earlier on in the week?
Can I start? Can I start?
You're going to do an animated start. Go ahead.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 love.
Who got 6?
1-0 Ghana, and a tie with Congo and Portugal, and they punked Ronaldo, and I'm here for it, and I'm here for it.
Well, since we are in Canada, I know, Jonathan, you were watching the game because I called you and you were watching it. Ryan, did you watch any of the 6-0 Canada beating put on Qatar yesterday?
No, at the same time, my daughter was having her grade 8 graduation.
Oh,
so
congratulations.
You could hear who was watching the game in the audience because they scored that first goal. Nobody, I guess, that was watching the game could contain themselves. So, yeah, it was. But kudos. I feel like we should have handled Bosnia as well because Switzerland beat them 4-1. If we had just beat Bosnia and capitalized, we had like 6 excellent scoring chances. But Jonathan Davies broke out of his funk, hat trick. That I feel like we're going to get to the next round because if Switzerland, I think we just need the tie to get to the next round. So if we lose, it causes all the math. In sports, you always want to stay away from math. If you have to do calculations in order to figure out if you can get to the next round, that's when you're in a bad position. So if we win or tie, I believe the math is in our favor and we're into the knockout round. Please explain
We're in the knockout round and leading the division. One, because of goal differential. So
Yes.
because we did tie, we had to win yesterday by 4-0. So since we're like, okay, 4, let's drop 6. The only real negative in the game was
Coney?
Coney with
down?
Coney went down, but then as soon as he went down, the free kick raised his jersey, and I mean the Vancouver crowd was really into it. They all were doing the wave. It got so boring because we dropped like 6 on them. They were doing the wave in the stadium.
Yes.
That's crazy. So what else has been going on? So it sounds like, Jonathan, you've got World Cup fever. Ryan?
I'm a passive observer. I remember I went to my dad's house to watch the first Canada game, and he's the big soccer fan. So I always observe him, how he interacts with the games. And soccer can get you so animated, both positive and negative. When you're missing chances, or especially if you're losing, like, because soccer, once you go down, it's very easy for a team to just shut down the game and go all defense, and it can be a true like drag. So you can see how, I don't say, it's the only time I see my dad like get that upset is when we watch soccer. It's like that. I can't think of any other game where like we'll watch basketball together or watch baseball together, but soccer, because he used to play and he had the ability to go like far, but then got injured. So yeah, soccer has that special place in his heart where he can't stand incompetence in soccer. He's just
Lord.
Right?
Oh Lord.
So he's directing the plays and calling the plays like, yo, the man's up top, open pass. Like, why aren't they see? Like, it's just full analysis. So I love observing, and I'm just learning as he's like dissecting the game.
The number one thing when it comes to what comes to doing sports, is you are not reacting to where the ball is being kicked. You already know where the ball is, whether it be football, baseball, whatever. So like when I watch a game, I'm already like, whether it be football, I already know that they're in the prevent defense, like when I'm watching football. So I know where the ball is going to go, either A gap, B gap, whatever. I'm saying, okay, this guy's going to crouch. Like I was a catcher in baseball for years. So when I'm watching the pitcher, I'm like, come on, guy, move over. Like the defense, like move. You see what he's doing, like move. And like I'm watching it from that angle. Like I'm not watching the ball. Like I never watch the ball.
It's interesting you mentioned that, Juice Man, because the catcher's the only person who can see everything in front of them.
Correct.
Like from there, with a good view of the whole thing in front of them. So I hear you.
And the thing about baseball, especially as a catcher, because that was my main position when I was younger, pitch count is so important. So when you watch the game with people that don't really understand situations, it's like, because I can imagine your mind with every pitch, you're understanding the setup, you're understanding if they're getting behind. But so what's it like when you're watching a game and a person doesn't understand pitch counts?
Okay, that's another show. I think we hit something. All right, we're gonna go to break because go ahead. I'll have your last word and you go.
The Blue Jays were 2 outs away from winning the World Series.
Yes.
And I'm watching the coach do the same foolishness again this year when it comes to leaving pitchers in or taking them out too quickly. We were 2 outs away from winning the World Series. That's all I'm going to say. We would have won that series if you just left the pitcher in. I mean, there's some guys, leave them in because they have that motor where their arm is going to fall. They don't care. They're like, you know what? It's a World Series. I have my arm's falling off, but let me just pitch.
Yes.
That happened to Boston in their series when my man had a bloody sock and he's still up there pitching.
Schilling.
Roger
Yes.
Clemens.
Yeah, Schilling. Kirk
Kirk
Schilling.
Schilling.
Kirk Schilling.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Kirk Schilling,
Kirk Schilling. Yeah.
I mean, but I mean, your Savage was up there. Leave him in, man. Come on, leave him in. Don't bring. And our bullpen sucked last year. I won't even lie. Like they really sucked. But it is what it is, and they did the same thing this year. But it is what it is. Some person has to win. Some person has to lose.
All right, we're gonna go to a quick break, and we'll do some housekeeping. And we got an interesting topic. And as Jonathan's messages and phone and notifications, we're gonna go to break, and hopefully he'll turn it off this time. But we'll see what happens.
I thought I did. My bad.
Yeah,
that's actually I put it on silent, but then it rang on my computer.
All right, bye.
Watch Black Canada Talking live on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe and Cesar de Mamusa give their takes and POVs on news stories from a Black Canadian perspective.
Check out Primetime Saturdays with Aisha and Lala.
We're live every Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern
With Aisha K. Staggers
and Laura Lala Key,
where we try to make sense of the nonsense
going on in American politics and culture.
You don't want to miss it.
We'll see you on Saturday.
Yeah, going to be busy, but we got to get through this one first. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button, and seeing an uptake in subscriptions. So thank you for doing it on YouTube. If you subscribed, thank you. If you haven't, what's holding you back? And also tell other people about what we're doing. Also subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. Excuse me. And join our Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. The link is there. To advertise your business, product, or service, email me, dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Indie Soup TV, powered by our good friend Dr. Tachi out of Fort Lauderdale, independent content creators platform with about 25 independent content creators. I am one of them. And that YouTube page has about 28,500 subscribers in 2.5 years, which makes that site on YouTube the top 4% when it comes to subscriptions to a YouTube channel. Also, ANDC Narrative Power Summit Aqua Supper Club, Saturday, July 25th from 5 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. The link is there. And as always, shape the morning vibe. Take our audience survey. The link is there, and you'll see it in the comment section. So earlier on this week at the White House, there was a event that went on. and the UFC had a big event to celebrate the America's 250th birthday. So I'm just going to play this video, and this is going to be our conversation topic for today.
The beast that's ready to feast. You know what? Fuck the speech. Hey, shout out to Trump for having the balls to put some shit like this on. And if I'm gonna say anything, there's only one person more incredible than the Incredible Hulk, and that's my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Now listen, Alex Pereira, I want a shama on your mama. And lastly, Michelle Obama is a man. Am I
right, America? He actually did not get the response he was expecting, which is actually shocking.
Yeah, so we're going to be chatting today about this statement by Mr. Josh Hokit, UFC, saying Michelle Obama is a man controversy. Gentlemen, who do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about on this today? Who wants to kick it off? And that's to be interesting because I know Juice Man is an old school wrestling gentleman too. He loves this. So who wants to kick it off?
I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was he felt comfortable enough to be able to say something like that. And who was he trying to impress? Trump and I guess the audience. But when you yell out a conspiracy theory, he might as well have came up there and said, we didn't go to the moon, or the world is flat. Like, he was thinking the audience was with him, and it didn't land. Like, that's where I'm trying to, like, his motive to yell that out was purely to impress the president. So you think through, like, the classlessness that we've come to, where you're in front of the president of the United States, and that is the way that you're trying to impress him. It's just it just shows you the times that we're in. But it's just sad that he thought that was his closing punchline. Like, that was his, drop the mic moment. So yeah, that was pretty embarrassing.
Juice Man?
I got a bit of a different take on it, and let me start off by saying this. Let's look at his age. When Michelle Obama was the first lady of the United States of America, to which for 8 years she was impeccable. Of all the first ladies that there have ever been, she was the most in shape person. She dealt with a lot of activities where she was the poster child for someone who is fit, someone who is into exercise, somebody who's into nutrition. She was a Black woman who has 2 degrees, one from Princeton and one from Harvard, and she's also a lawyer. And in her own right, she's a very well-to-do person. She's not living off of her husband. She is a woman who really doesn't need a partner. She could do it all by herself. And she had that title with style and grace. Young Black women wanted to be her. Young Black men wanted to aspire to have a wife or a girlfriend or a mate that exemplified the qualities of a Michelle Obama. And at the same time, she was also a mother dealing with 2 young Black women who themselves got into 0 issues, 0 trouble. Can we say that about other families who have been in the White House? At the time when she was the first lady, I do believe Josh was only 14.
Gotcha.
So if you take all of that into consideration, being a 14-year-old, this woman has lived rent-free in your head from you were 14. So that you are on a stage like this, and Dana White said that you're going to have Super Bowl numbers for this, which would be over 25 million viewers. They did not. They only had barely 8 million, right? Of the rednecks and all the other sort of stuff, because I'm a UFC fan and I did not watch this. I was not interested in it in the least. But with all those things considering, you did a promo where you were up there and you're talking about yourself. And this was your moment where you could have just won over the crowd and just said, thank God, you did all that sort of stuff. You did the God Bless America stuff, and you could have just left. But you put this out there and you wanted to stir controversy because, again, you live in the United States of America and sensationalism wins. So from a marketing aspect, he did what he needed to do, right? But if you ever watched that movie Monsters, Inc., when people used to scare people, they only made this much money. When they decided that monsters were going to be in and be good monsters, they made this much money.
Made them laugh, right?
And since this, he's going to lose in the long run for his base. Oh, yeah. They're like, oh, this was funny. This was so funny. And some people believe it's true. There's a lot of people in the comments who are using doctored photos to prove their point. They're basically calling him Mike, calling her, not Michelle, but Mike. So some people are calling it transphobic. Some people are saying it's other stuff. Is it tasteless? Most definitely. Did he know what he was doing? Of course. Is he going to make money from this? Of course.
Interesting.
Of course. Is he going to lose? Yes. But he's going to make money. And and for the rest of his life, he's going to be that villain. and people are going to boo him, and he's going to love being booed because, I mean, hey, Darth Vader is the best villain of all time, and you're telling me what is Star Wars without Darth Vader? That's my take on it. But again, is it tasteless for us? Of course. But hey, those guys, we're still in the field. They'll be quiet eventually. You know what I mean? Hey, they'll shop at H&M again. They'll buy Ivory soap again. You know what I mean? They'll do that. They'll watch the UFC again. They'll be outraged for a minute, and then they'll go back to doing what they did as always.
But is he a superstar in the UFC? Like, is he at that level? I'm just the first I ever heard of him.
He's champion, right?
Is he the current champion? I did not even know that.
He's champion for his weight class. That's what this fight was about.
Gotcha.
So at the end of the day, I mean, he's somebody who, Daniel DC, as we know him in the UFC, he trained. Josh trains at his gym. He goes to a black gym, a black-owned gym to train around black people.
Right.
And he felt no way saying this. Now, the question we have for Daniel is he still welcome in your gym? Daniels didn't say anything with regard to that. Dana said this question. Dana White, who runs the UFC, didn't really have an issue with. He had an issue. He said a statement, but does he really have an issue by banning him or whatever because he's all about free speech? Nothing. The parent company, TKO, which owns the UFC and WWE, right? Like when you think of the what was the clause they have in contracts now, where if you
embarrass the company,
where you do something, you're fired or whatever. I can't remember what that clause is. Did anything happen? No.
Right.
Is there selective outrage from but everybody doesn't really care. You know what I mean? What's important right now? The price of gas. Nobody really cares about that somebody saying Michelle Obama is a man. Like, what does that have to do with the price of gas? And literally, that's kind of how they're taking it.
I see that.
Okay. So, of course, when we chat about a subject like this, there's a lot of people commenting. There's a whole people in the room. So, gonna look at some comments. So, we have something here. The audience is never with him clearly or not seeing what he does. He knows the audience isn't with him. That's why he's probably being cringe. Also, the first thing that comes to my mind hearing you say that shows how much against free speech you are. I don't think anyone said anything about being against free speech yet. Another person saying he finished a fighter. LOL, he doesn't need a punchline.
Yeah, exactly.
Another person here, classlessness. Did you forget the Democrats calling 47 Hitler and his voters Nazis and saying Melania is going to be a future widow? What about that? Another person saying, hello and thanks for having this conversation. Oh, look who's in the house. Fitness IQ Cam, morning to you and the family. The crowd, the crowd loved him. What's to win over? Another person saying here, they're trying so hard to make Michelle anything but forgettable at best, raging. Another person here, you said why he did it. You guys are the only ones complaining. And then another person here saying, clearly this has lived in talk's head since you are still talking about it.
Yeah, and no one's complaining. This is where watching him, and again, listening to the clip, the audience did not react the way that he wanted them to react. That's what I was saying. He came up with that line in order to have a mic drop moment and have the crowd like go crazy and cheer. That's why he talked about Jesus. That's why he was trying to play to what he thought the audience was really gonna cheer about. So if he's already the champion, he already won the fight, he's already has the stage, the platform, what Juice Man mentioned is him now picking at something that's in his mind. No, if he didn't mention Michelle Obama at all, the event would just go on. But it sounds more strategic now. It's like, oh, what can I say to get a reaction? What can I say to get headlines? That is a true Trump playbook. But I'm thinking, now that you've said, like, it's on par with yelling out the earth is flat, because you're going to yell it in a crowd that you think is, oh, these people are with me, they probably believe this. So him saying that is saying, like, oh, I'm in a space where people would believe this. So if you're arguing that it's true, that's a different conversation than arguing, oh, I'm going to say something that's going to get a reaction, and it didn't. So this is where I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the end game with him saying that? Like, is it just to bring up the Obamas? Like, by all means, like, I'm sure Trump didn't really love that he mentioned Obama in his I guess his celebration. Obama still come up. that to me is like so comical.
Let me just add to this. We are 3 black men on the internet talking about something.
Mm-hmm.
And J-Rock is alluding to the factors that we're talking about it. He's one of the people who are saying that we're talking about it. But you're typing at us, talking about something. You're watching us. Remember that. When you sit behind your computer and you want to spew things, remember what you're doing at the same time. Right? Everybody has mouth when they're behind a keyboard. Everybody can comment and say, oh, this was funny. This was do whatever. But that same person may be my colleague at work. And they don't have the balls enough to come to talk to me face to face about it.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
They don't have the balls to do it. You know, everybody has a mouth when they're behind their keyboard. But when it comes to actually saying that to your face, some people feel strength to do it now because we live in a world where, you know, hey, some people feel, you know, hey, they can say what they want to say. But free speech is not free. There's always a consequence for whatever you do. You can say whatever you want, but, you know, don't sign a check you're behind can't cash, because somebody will make change.
Were you either of you? Like, I've heard some.
You were on mute there for a second. I didn't hear what you said.
I'm not.
It cut out for like a split second.
Okay. No, are any of you guys thought there should have been more pushback? I heard it from the melanated community, but like, you are right that Dana White made a statement a few days after, but there are a lot of people like a Mark Zuckerberg were in the crowd. Believe it or not, also Serena Williams' husband was there.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm not expecting anything from them. Like at the end of the day, it's kind of like this, right? When I go to certain places, for example, I already know what I'm gonna get. I already know, you know what I mean? Like if I walk into a fast food restaurant, I know what I'm gonna get. I know the service I'm gonna get. I'm gonna, you know, whatever. If I go into other places, I'm gonna, you know, I remember Malcolm X saying this, and I use this every day to my children. I use this every day to people who I know. Do not come to a warlike person peacefully, because if you do, they're gonna knock you out. So I know when I'm around people who, let's say, don't like me, don't like the color of my skin, don't like whatever, I already know that they're gonna come with their insults. So I'm going to use my education, not my brawn, to deal with them. Right? I always tell people all the time, do not fear that I'm 6'5", 300 pounds. Do not fear that. Fear that I'm a very intelligent man, and I will bury you with intelligence. I'll make you look real stupid with intelligence, because I know you're trying to goad me into a fight. You'll never do that. And you know what's funny? I would never sow my blade with you. I win wars without firing one shot. Remember that. We didn't just come on the show just to talk and because we don't know what we're doing. We're very educated individuals. We went to school. We've controlled our narratives. We're all legends in our own right. And that's not me saying that. You know what I mean? We are Black people. We've had to learn to be dignified, even when we don't want to be. We've been goaded into fights because other people want to say stuff about us. We're there with our families. You know what I mean? People use microaggressions with us at work all the time, and we have to take it. But you know what? We're not our parents. Trust me. This is a totally different era. We'll go into the company that you work at with your poor service and we'll buy it tomorrow. Remember that.
Which makes me think of, I'm not sure if you've been following what do they call it? The Asian store boycotts that are happening in the US.
Yeah, we talked about that.
So I'm trying to figure out if it's working or not, because I'm seeing both sides where some videos are like, oh no, Black people are still buying at these stores. But then I'm seeing other videos where these stores are empty, especially the hair stores, and also the oh my gosh, the like Black nail salons are now more packed and more people are going there. It just makes me think of like organization, or when we collaborate and organize ourselves. Like these are things that happen with Target. Now it's happening here, and we even got that challenge where the Asian person, I think, came on TikTok and said like, oh, there's no way Black people can boycott Asians. So do you feel we're on the right path with that, to start just buying with ourselves?
There's always going to be someone from our community. Jay-Z, just made a deal with Target, right? Even though there's a boycott against Target, Jay-Z just made a deal with them. But I mean, he's known for doing stuff like that as well. We within our community have the buying power that we tend to buy very non-essential items every single day. I've talked about it on the show many times, all back to the 90s, the early 90s, 1997 April edition of Forbes magazine. There was an article, quoted it many times, called Hip Hoponomics, where they said that Black people buy the most non-essential items on the planet. Oof. And we are guilty of doing it, right? We constantly are buying more and more stuff. We have a closet full of clothes and we're still buying more stuff because we need to wear our wealth. That's what we do, right? And I understand that there's a social, economic thing to things, right? That we have to show the world that we've made it, right? But and we could sit here and talk ad nauseum about working together and all this sort of stuff like that. It takes away from what's the real problem. The real problem is that no matter what we do, no matter how far we go, it is still controlled by things that we do not control. The more and more we have to, at times, as much as we don't necessarily want to, have to work with other communities, right? We can't just have something that is to ourselves. It's to our own detriment. There's only so many of us here, right? That's why there is this focus now on people not even dealing with the North American market anymore, just going straight to Africa. There's 54 countries in Africa.
Right.
They don't need to import nothing. What does Africa need to import?
True. Right.
Like, so we focus our attention over here. Like, Shiloh Sanders is in the city right now. I think Shador is here as well. And they're just walking up and down, doing different things. And these are Black men, educated Black men, went to university. Like, oh, I didn't even know you guys had Walmart here. Do you understand? I didn't even know that there was Black people here like this. Because they're not taught about anything that's outside of the walls of the United States of America. And they're not focused on it. So if you think about that, for example, there's a whole world of things that you, I, and the rest of the people don't know because we're only taught these things, right? There are people in the Caribbean who were never taught about the transatlantic slave trade. They don't know anything about it. They believe, you know what? I'm Jamaican, and that's it. I'm Trinidadian. That's it. I'm Haitian. Well, Haitian is different, but I mean, Bayesian, different. Like there's this thing that you don't know what you don't know, and when people advertise things or they say things, it's to rile people up so that they stay as a sheep while the shepherd is orchestrating what they're doing over here. Right? A person said, you know, hey, the Democrats talked about, you know, that Trump is going to be Hitler. Hello? Did he not just sign something in Versailles? Do you not know your history? Do you not know why France chose for him to sign it in Versailles? Think about it, for example. Think about it. Again, if you know your history, if you control your narrative, you know what I mean? You can charm more with honey than you can with vinegar. But people feel as though I need to be, you know, that rile up people. I need to do this sort of stuff. It makes me feel good, you know, and you want all the accolades on yourself. Okay.
Okay.
Speaking of accolades, after you check the comments, I want to ask you about some developments that happened about accolades this week.
Okay, but you know, I'm gonna read it. There have been a pile of comments, all over the place. So I'm gonna read some of them, and but I still want to stay on this subject a little bit more. But so, of course, the question of the day. Frequency Event Promotion says, "Good day, gentlemen. Dr. Vibe, Juice Man, and Ryan. Good to see you."
Yes,
Nurse K says, "Good morning, all. Comparing a joke that was made regarding the president's age gap and with his wife, realistically, she will become a widow soon, to an untrue, inflammatory, racist, and transphobic comment." Ryan has not got his cup yet. He says this week is going to be it. Interesting question here. Can you still get rich being a victim?
Most definitely.
Okay. All right. And then after what I heard of the Kevin Hart roast. Now, did you guys hear about this?
I did not hear any.
I think there was a special on Netflix and he was being roasted and some
I saw that.
Some comedian said something and Kevin Hart, it was not in good taste in regard, and I can't remember, I talked about on Block, what was it?
The George Floyd jokes?
Yes.
Yeah, that was very tasteless.
Oh boy.
Very
yeah, right. Here's another person saying, as a Black person, I have Black fatigue. I can understand that. Someone else seen her saying, tells me all I need to know about who said the comment. We got a compliment here. This conversation advances Black causes. Thank you. Another person saying, pathetic attempt at a joke tells me all I need to know about whoever said comment. Another person saying, I like your show. Well, subscribe.
Yes.
And then another person saying, can we do anything to stop racism against Asians and whites? Well, you know what? I'm not Asian and white, and we got enough challenges in our own, I think, a little bit right now, but I hear racism is not good across the board. But this program right now is about Black racism. All right.
Did I miss something? Is there a system designed to oppress white people now? Like, was that I didn't see that on the news anywhere. So, because racism is a system that holds back a specific group of people. If I missed it, please point me to the article.
The Black history that they want to erase is what they caused. Just remember that.
Okay. So were you disappointed that not more people pushed back against that comment who were non-melanated?
It didn't affect them. You see, you got to understand something. And I've seen a lot of things on the internet lately when it comes to, and I call it selective outrage, right? And if you narrow in on something, so I'm a director, so when you narrow into a shot, so for example, as you can see in the background, this is a wide shot, right? Ryan has his camera up close, so he's doing a narrow shot. So you have no idea what's to the left and to the right of that person, right? Because you're doing it very tight. So you notice that I'm in an empty room. But if I clamped in on myself and all you could see is my face, you have no idea what's happening outside. And there's a lot of people every day who, for good, bad, and indifferent reasons, choose not to engage with the outside world. And they don't have to. You know, we work from home now. So you don't have to see anybody out on, you know, out anywhere. You know, you have your laptop, you can say whatever you want to say, you can do whatever you want to do. You don't even have to go to the grocery store and get groceries. If you got the money, you can sit at home and do whatever. And you can say, why those people doing what they do out there? I don't understand why they're going on like that. Like them darkies, man, why them darkies just don't stay home? Why do they always marching up and down the place and doing their little things and whatever the case may be? You know, that boy over there, you know, I remember having a little son, you know, and he had this little black friend who used to come over to my house and we used to just play. And that was a good looking darky, you know what I mean? Like he knew his place. Why can't they be like that? And that's how they think. Right? Then you have the black people saying, you know, why don't black people always have to talk them thing that? Why they always have to go on TV? That man don't speak for me. That man don't speak for me. Why am I have to go on like so? And this is what keeps happening. We don't sit down on Sundays anymore and have conversations. We don't interact with people in the way we used to have conversations with people. We have opinions, right? My ex-wife said something, and I'll big her up for this. This is probably one of the greatest things she ever said. Back when we were kids, women had diaries, and they wrote in their diaries of their thoughts. And they would be mortified if anybody said or read their diary and said something about it. Now we have people on social media who post every backside thing they can think of and put it out there. And somebody just happens to be scrolling and sees what they wrote, and now they're pissed off. Or they're pissed off that somebody actually looked on their page who they didn't think would look on their page and wondering why the hell they looked at it. Don't post not a BC thing on your page, and you would not have that problem. Come off of social media. If you don't want people to talk about you or anything else, don't be on a platform. Because that's what it's designed to do. You put your opinion out there, people are going to like it or not like it. And by coming on the show, you know we're going to get darts. Some people are going to love you. Some people are going to hate you. Some people are not going to say something. But the problem is that we live in silos now. We don't react with people. The last time in this city that I live in, we actually reacted to our neighbors. And I'll tell you the date. You ready? August 14th, 2003. That was it. Do you know why? We had no electricity.
The blackout.
What happened that day? We went outside. We went to go see if people had a phone. We went around. We did that sort of stuff. Whatever the case, maybe we looked around, and that's the only time we actually knew. And even that day, we didn't even know our in some areas what our neighbor's name is. Ask yourself this question. People listening. Do you know the neighbors who live right beside you and across the street from you? Their names and their children's names. Do you know them? Have you sat down and had them over to eat? Ask yourself that question. We're neighbors, right?
Right.
You moved from where you were. Remember the days when we used to move in those certain areas and you knew all the people who lived whatever? Then you move into a more affluent area. You have no idea who lives next door to you. All of a sudden you have an alarm now. You have an alarm on your house. You never had an alarm before. Your door was open all the time.
Right.
Any person could have walked in your house. You left the door open 24/7. Your door was never locked. Now you move into an affluent area, right? Where there's supposed to be less home invasions. And now you have an alarm system. You have the Ring doorbell. People thieving packages off your front step. Make it make sense. Again, just a different way of thinking.
Okay. More comments. Like it's out of bounds this morning, which is a good thing. So someone says, if you're a Black Democrat, you have no right to claim Malcolm X. Another person saying, I'm not boycotting Asia stores. Another person saying, segregation would have guaranteed Black Americans a seat at the table, but we decided to spend our Black dollars at white, yellow, and brown business. Gotcha. Asian store hates, someone saying here. Another one. Absolutely. People understand something. Make sure you capitalize off of other people's ignorance, lack of skill, and find ways to utilize them. Be an elite. Blacks like this are necessary to employ. Another person says, how can a Black man still vote for the party of the Confederate slavery and Jim Crow? Okay. Frequency of everyone says, I was on a call yesterday with university students and a Black medical doctor. In short, education, career pathways, and his answer, did he or has he experienced racism? His answer was yes. Frequency also says, newsflash, racism is alive and not nutritious. What are we doing about it? C Nurse K says, it's like when people say, quote, just work hard and you will succeed, unquote. Meanwhile, you have HR throwing out resumes and not calling candidates back based on their names.
Look at that.
Guardian says, I wonder what is your left and right and why you wanted to see what you choose to put behind you. That's higher Q. That's a higher IQ take, Juice Man. You got another fan. That person say, it's not about race. It's about culture. I agree about this. That's a whole conversation there. Plenty of righteous Black people and plenty of blank whites. The person saying, when everything is racist, nothing is racist. Another person saying, the problem is we don't care about your room or your house. Those with higher IQ are wondering why you are comparing one's ability to perceive and what they choose to a camera lens. Another person saying, there's hundreds of YouTube channels of racist Blacks being racist while crying about racism shows everyone how racist and jealous Blacks are of white people or of successful Blacks.
Interesting.
We don't want anyone to, quote, know their place, unquote. We just want people to act civil. While everything's racist, nothing is. So Blacks don't say a single word when these Democrats are calling 47 Hitler, but a fighter says a lady is a man and they explode. Crazy. Another person saying racism isn't real. I think so. Another one saying, but it doesn't mean for non-many people have terrible lives too. And those individuals can be easily persuaded into racist ideology because it makes them slightly better. And that's it. We are caught up, gentlemen. Any thoughts you have after all the myriads of comments you have blown up on the morning vibe this morning?
Let me say something with regard to that. There are commercials that are designed to get you to buy something late at night or do something late at night. We've all seen those commercials. Do you have insomnia? Well, I guess so, because I'm up at 1 o'clock in the morning. And they say things that make you want to identify with that box. And people of all races, colors, creeds, and whatever do it. One of the things that Dr. Vibe and I went to many, many years ago was a symposium with George Fraser. And he talked about what the moral
Ryan knows him well too. Ryan knows him well too.
Okay, right? Okay. Where they talked about in those things having a selective network. Now, there are mentors within my network that are of many different colors, creeds, and whatever. However, I will say this proudly, and you're going to laugh when you hear this. I was raised for the first part of my life by a Ukrainian white man.
Mm.
Okay. The neighbor to the left of me, where I lived when I moved from that situation, was a Scottish man.
Mm.
The man on the other side of me was from Manitoba, played the banjo, bluegrass music,
Mm.
right? I had white neighbors my whole life. The first, actually not my whole life, but first 20, when did I move? Actually, no. Basically, the first 30 years of my life, I lived with white people to the left and the right of me. And I've generally been in spaces where I've been around a lot of white people my whole life. That being said, I'm a black man, and I love being the color that I am. I did not understand racism or prejudice to the extent that I did until I got to my 20s. And I actually started playing music. When I started hearing other nationalities and other people speak about we, because now they're drunk, now they're in a nightclub, now they got the truth serum, the liquid courage to say what they want to say.
Mm.
I put on a suit and I worked in certain corporate things. I started hearing what people were saying and the microaggressions and all those little conversations that happen at the water cooler. And, how I am a good black. You hear all these things.
Mm.
And these things shape your identity, and these things push you in certain areas. And you ask questions as to why the world is the way it is. And when you kind of figure out and you take the layers off, if you have the time to do this, take the layers off the onion, you'll really realize that the number one thing that we all have is fear. And that fear is losing our place where we sit. We see things and we see other people doing things and we see other people getting ahead faster. But we forget one of the biggest rules that we're taught. What is for me is for me. The blessings in life that were preordained for me, whether you believe in a higher power, whatever, doesn't make a difference. What's for me is for me. What's for Ryan is for Ryan. What's for Dr. Vibe is for Dr. Vibe. And from our vantage point, we see Dr. Vibe do something and we get a jealousy with that person because Dr. Vibe is doing something that we never even thought of doing, and he's being successful with it. Ryan is doing something and we're being successful with it. And we grudge that person and we envy that person. But there's people out there that are doing jobs every single day to make sure that they do what they do. People see me and they're jealous of my success because they're saying, how does this guy do what he does? But you're not seeing me at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning doing what I'm doing. You're not listening to that Longfellow poem. You know what I mean? The heights of great men were not achieved by sudden flight. You don't know that poem. You don't know the lyrics to that poem. You don't know what people are doing. And we just watch everything on the news and we see a bunch of Ghanaian people just having fun and basically making, hey, da, da, da. But you don't know how many years it took for them to get there. Nobody realizes that there was a boycott of African countries for the FIFA World Cup. where 15 clubs decided, 15 countries decided, we're not going to compete in FIFA because you're giving Africa, Asia, and back then Oceania one place, one spot, when you're giving Europe 10. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we've been through things, and people just turn around sometimes and just say, they look at what they see in 2026 and they complain. Dr. Vibe and I were talking off air. And I said something to somebody when it came to music. I said, why I get very angry about music. And I'll just use that for an example. And this is one of the things that where your prejudice starts, where your anger starts, because you remember a time when you had to do something and you see people doing it now and they're just doing it real easy. And it bothers you that you had to do it the hard way. And because when you had to do it the hard way, you're like, well, hold on a second. How come they couldn't give me the easy thing? Why did I have to do it the hard way?
True.
You don't realize what progression is. You don't realize whatever. So sometimes, again, as I say, you can't always just look at it from your point of view. You have to turn the lens 180 degrees and look at it from somewhere else, because your perception is not necessarily the whole reality. I bought records back in the day for $7.99, one song. If I show up at that record store, that record is gone for life. And I am judged based on the music that I have in my crate that you can see in the back wall back there, right? A DJ who starts off today has the ability to download music, if they pay for it, off of Apple Music. It costs them 99 cents for the same record I paid $7.99 for, $8.99, right? They can go join a record pool that costs them maybe $30. They still choose not to do that. They will come on the internet and say, do you have a website or software that will allow me to rip a song off of YouTube, which is illegal, mind you. The quality is garbage, mind you, because they not to play music, but still consider themselves a DJ on the same level as myself. So I can understand when people get upset over they see certain groups of people and they think that they are getting ahead. But we also have to look at the times in which we live in that allows people to progress forward. And they may progress forward because they're using their ingenuity, they're using their resources collectively. And you choose to do it in your 1950s mentality, or from your culture where you only do things for you, and that's why you're not getting ahead. And you can stand on business, you can stand 10 toes deep and say, hey, I'm not going to do it this way, and I'm only going to deal with this, and I'm only going to do this. And you can come on here or anywhere else and say, but what about me? But my question that I'm going to ask every single person who says, what about me, is how are you helping everybody progress forward?
100%. Yep.
Mr. Ryan, what else do you want to add on this topic? We've expanded the comment, but going back to the Michelle Obama, anything catch you off? Like, any other thoughts you have about what was said, what hasn't been said? And notice that Michelle has said nothing about it.
Yeah, I love what Jusman talked about, where we're all in, or we can be in our own bubbles. Like, we can totally disconnect from other people, stay on our front lawn and just yell at the world. Now we can pretty much do that online. Pick your clique, people that think the same way as you do, and you don't have to interact with others. And it's difficult when those bubbles like clash, because it's hard to have conversations with people that don't know how to articulate themselves without arguing, without wanting to just bash you and bring you down. I mean, and this is where what the guy said about Michelle Obama, you're in a environment that is supposed to be exciting and positive. He literally quoted that he's a follower of Jesus Christ. Yet the next three things that he said out of his mouth were so negative. I think he was talking about hitting a next guy's wife or mother, like making love to the guy's mother. I'm like, or doing defacing her. So it's like, if we're trying to have a positive time, I don't see why there needs to be negativity brought to it. And even with some of the comments online, like, I am not a Democrat. I don't know if they think that we're Democrats here talking, but it's just observing how we're interacting with each other.
What Democrats we have in this country that we're in right now?
So
we don't have Democrats here.
Hey, newsflash, we are actually in Canada. But it's just looking at not wanting to interact with people and understand their point of view. And also, I love what you said about turning the lens and understanding from what is that other person thinking. Like, those are the conversations that I love, where you don't have to agree, but I want to learn something. I want to be able to learn about your point of view and understand why you think that way, your upbringing, whatever ideologies you have. But then we're still cool after. Like, nowadays, it just feels like everybody's in their pockets. And if you're not in this pocket, I can't rock with you. Or I can't even talk to you. It just feels like it's combative all the time. So, I mean, what he's like, this is where the conversation today is about a person. And I think, Juice Man, you hit it, like wanting to get their, but that's where it's like, they want to get their 15 minutes or they want to get additional exposure, but you're already the champion. That's why I'm like, what? You don't even have to go down that lane. You could literally say anything and go a positive, but his audience, he felt like, wanted to hear that he follows Christ, wanted to hear that he'll defail somebody's mother, wanted to hear that he believes in conspiracy theories. You really have to look at yourself and like think, is this the type of fans that I want? Like, I always remember wrestling, and it's so story driven, and you can play the heel and you can play the baby face, but it was an act to be able to have that push and pull so the audience can engage. If you're just going to be a villain for the rest of your life, it doesn't, I don't understand the end game. Like, I'm struggling to understand why you would choose that.
The problem is, and you brought up wrestling, and I, because I'm kind of a wrestling historian, kind of, Hulk Hogan's whole career was shaped after a wrestler, and you can Google him, superstar Billy Graham, down to the brother, down to saying, "Hey, brother, how you doing, brother?"
Yes.
Right? The Nature Boy Ric Flair took everything he got from the Nature Boy Buddy Rogers. Everything. There's always somebody who came before you who did what you did. Does anybody care? Does anybody remember? Does anybody even look at that? No. Right. The problem that I think that we have as people is we want to destroy or whitewash or erase the fact that you did what you did when you did it, or your ancestors did what they did when they did it, or somebody did something better than you when they did it, and we want to destroy that legacy. When we break up with a girl or a guy in 2026 and you have all your pictures all over your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever the case may be, all you need to do is select, delete, and they're gone. And you can erase that part of your life like it never happened. And the only person who knows about it is you. That's what you can do. Right? And that is what people are trying to do today. Right? And The problem is there's always that one person who is going to be like, no, that happened. Here's the
I have
evidence.
the pictures too.
No, sorry, I lived it. Well, where's your proof? Here are the scars on my body.
Right.
Here's the things that happen. Here's the artifacts. And then we all of a sudden start, oh, they never taught me that in school. They never did all of that. And I think there needs to be more of an education when it comes to the aspect of being a good person. If you lead with love, and I started doing that. I started doing that years ago, where I said, you know what, I'm going to lead with love. I'm not going to be as rigid as I normally am. And my rigidness has to do more with shyness than anything else. To be honest with you, I'm a very shy person, believe it or not. The Juice Man is a caricature of who I am, just like you were talking about wrestling. Like, Juice Man can come on this platform and talk. Jonathan cannot. Juice Man can speak to people. Jonathan cannot. Juice Man can't play the piano. Jonathan can. Jonathan's a very well-read person. Juice Man is not. But they're both me. The problem is that you have to know when to wear this hat and when to wear that hat and how to conduct yourself. I can go from the street to the boardroom in a second. I can talk to the man down, and I can also talk to the president as well too, and just be cool with it. But if you have a fear of sitting down with people who don't look like you, and you have a fear of being around things that you're not used to, that's your own insecurities. That's your own imagination. I put that out there yesterday, that people's imagination, like, you suffer more in your imagination than you do in reality.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, and to think that Michelle Obama is a man, like, to be honest with you, like, does that really bother? Like, what does that have to do with the UFC at all? Like, what? Like I'm sitting here. Okay, so Michelle Obama was where here? Like, what did she like? Did she come to your school or something like that? Did she affect you in some way?
Right?
Did you have a crush on her and then all of a sudden think, okay, no, she's like, what happened? You know what I mean? Did you have like pictures of Michelle Obama, and you're like looking at her husband Barack and say, you know what? I don't like you, you know what I mean? Because you're with my girl, or maybe she's a guy. I don't know. Like, what?
Something confused you.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm one of those people who, no matter what, will look at a really dumb thing and say, I need to find the sense in this. I need to make sense out of nonsense. My mom always used to tell me that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Pick peas out of you know what. Like, and it behooves me to think that I can't. I'm sitting here trying to think, you weren't high, you weren't on drugs, you weren't drinking, you just fit. You have all this adrenaline, and you have a live mic, and at the end of it, you had to say this about somebody who wasn't even there, who hasn't been around in office for what? 5 years? They left what?
Almost a decade.
They left 6 years ago. 6 years. You were 14 years old. When I was 14 years old, I'm thinking, okay, Mom, can I get a Vic 20? Can I get an Atari? You know what I mean? That Puma tracksuit looks real good, man. You know what I mean? Like I really want that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you would ask me who is the first lady of the United States
when you're 14, nowhere on the radar.
I did not care. Maybe yes. You know what I mean? It was listen, if you ask me who was a prime minister back then, I'm still trying to rack my brain. brain. What
Yes,
was
yes.
it? Pierre Trudeau? It was either Pierre Trudeau or Joe Clark, one of the two. Like that was it. I don't know. It's not that I didn't know anything else. I wasn't concerned about it. And as an adult, I'm not really concerned. Again, I don't really care about somebody's sexuality. I don't care about what it has nothing to do with me. Like, I'm not DJing a dance or a party. Imagine Carabana. You know, I'm DJing a dance party, whatever the case may be. And I'm like, yeah, man. Get on the microphone and say, why? No.
Right.
You have 8 million people. And that is what was living rent-free in your head? Was he concussed?
His whole script was scripted. Like, his whole ending speech was scripted. So that's where I'm seeing, like, it was thought through, and somebody worked with him to say, these are the points that you need to make after the fight.
These are the touch points. Yeah.
Yeah, that those things are not off the cuff. Like, that is in his head. But that's where the PR people that he's working with felt the audience wanted to hear this. They wanted to hear about Jesus. They wanted to hear about you being with somebody's mother. They wanted to hear about Michelle Obama. Like, it was calculated. And to what, like, why even put the attention now on her when you could have had this platform to put the attention on anything that you wanted? Sell your own merch. Like, actually take a page from the president where he knows how to boost up himself and talk about his stuff that he's selling. This just seems like it's going to cause controversy and cost. I think it's going to cost him money, because the audience now that is talking about what he said isn't his base, but would be people that would attend UFC fights. Like,
no, I think the people there that number support him. Here's the question: they had some major sponsors of this event: Monster, Anheuser-Busch.
Not all people that are in his base drink these products, or the sponsors don't cater to a specific segment of the population.
Okay, before we go any further,
they are more broad.
There's a mile of comments, so I got to catch up. All right. Obviously, the comment of the day: the trolls are out in force this morning. Yes, they is.
Hey, we always welcome conversation. As long as it's respectful, ask the question and make your point. Like, there's nothing against people making their opinion.
Frequency of Air Promotion says, as a community or environment, how connected are we as people? Continued. We are talented, we are creative, but are we truly connected?
Well, and this is what I love about boycotts, is that it takes organization. So when we say we're going to work toward a specific goal, and then we can see if it's effective or if it's not. A lot of times we're just doing things disjointed. That's where I feel like collaboration actually can execute things. Whether it's the right move or the wrong move, that can be debated and analyzed. But us actually picking a common goal and working towards it, that I feel like we should do more of, and just analyze and have better goals. Like, if boycotting Asian stores isn't the right move, then we'll analyze that later. But we also can't shy away from ourselves. We have to coordinate and collaborate about, okay, should we be spending more dollars in the Black community? Why are we buying frivolous things? Should we not be buying those things? Should we be buying hair at all? Like, boycotting Asian hair stores is fine, but is that actually something that we should be buying? Do we have to buy Chinese food? Like, all these things, we have to really analyze where our money is going, period. And I don't think we have enough conversations around how we spend our money wherever it's going. We know that it seems to be going away from us.
Just before Juice Man, if he wants to add on, if I have permission to interrupt, there's a lady who I follow in the United States. She doesn't call it a boycott. She calls it a boycott.
Yeah, shifting focus. Yeah.
A boycott. Juice Man, anything you wanted to add either to this question or what Ryan just shared?
Are we truly connected? Yes, we are. How we use that connectivity, that is what is in question.
Yes.
Okay. Ray McMillan says, that's such a cold reality. 23 years living in silos. Can it be reversed? This is an entire generation living in isolation. Frequency coming in today. I guess he wants Ryan to get that mug. 2 points. They now have created a screenless laptop. The progression of music no longer belongs to one culture anymore. The world is changing.
A screenless laptop. What is like holograms? What does it do?
I have no. Well, Juice Man's nodding his head, so maybe he knows about it. Next up, someone says, if a group of non-melanated men made a panel like the ones I've been seeing, where a group of white melanated men say blacks are a problem, blacks would lose their minds. It's unreal.
Has he ever watched Fox News? These panels are all over the place. So yeah,
Armin says, another person says, money doesn't solve all your issues. I would agree with that, but it does solve a lot of them.
Right. Yes.
Also, blacks say black owned, only support black owned, but if whites done that, the same blacks would cry racism, and that's proven with all black scam community, but the white community was racist. Okay. You guys can comment any of these as I go through them. I'm on the school board. I started a college scholarship at the high school. I own a business that employs 83 members of my community. Okay.
Nice.
Don't know if you're melanated or not melanated, but good for you. Someone says, I know everyone in my town. Race has such an amazing anthology, Juice Man. The black elite is the new racist. They have removed themselves from their reality of their own relatives.
Facts.
Ooh, that's unfortunate.
Remember the HR person who was outed for calling an educated black man, quote, a ghetto dude, unquote, based on his appearance. He accidentally sent him the email as well as Otherwise, he wouldn't have known.
Right.
Other person saying you're in charge of your reactions, not anyone else.
Agreed.
Another one here. The internet is a double-edged sword. I think it's a multifaceted sword, but that's a whole good thing. Someone saying just be good to everyone. Stop race baiting. Every race has been a slave. Blacks even enslaved white Europeans. Who's worried about that? Nobody. It's the past. Just be an awesome man for today.
But if that's true, that wasn't right either. Like, you can't discount bad things happening today because bad things happened in the past. Like, yes, bad things are bad things. If people were enslaved, that is not good. So the fact that what you're saying is true in the past, that doesn't discount it happening now. So let's level set and make sure that we're understanding atrocities are atrocities. Period. No matter who is doing it, left or right, or however you slice it. But yeah, nobody is saying that it's right to do that. Okay. No matter who does it.
The effects of said atrocities, regardless of who was at the beginning of it, are still unfortunately affecting us to today. Hence why we have the prejudice, the bigotry, the shadeism, the aspects. I mean, we have so many isms now. You know what I mean? They haven't went smaller in 2026. They've actually got bigger. There's more phobics now. Like the amount of different words we have for classifications now is forever increasing. It hasn't decreased once.
Right.
Okay, let's continue on with the comments. C Nurse K says, for all of you, quote, you know who's blind, unquote, blind followers, just remember he was quoted as saying he loves the poorly educated. He also doesn't care about his loyal followers who can't afford food, gas, etc. I believe that she's talking about the current president of the United States. Obviously, yes, the bots are mad. Also saying, wish it were that easy. Also, actually, today is Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth. Juneteenth is the 13th through the 19th of the 6th month, and it's Millennial Music Recognition Month. 365 for me. Yes, it is Happy Juneteenth.
We're free-ish today.
Someone's saying blacks don't think logically; they think with their emotions. Interesting comment. Anyone want to respond to that?
We are emotional people. And if you're going to use the word emotions, I am a wordsmith. So let me break it down for you. Emotions is a thing called love. When people say that people get emotional, usually people want to focus in on the negative. Seeing as though I understand the word emotions, I'm going to say, yes, we deal with love. Next question, please.
Okay. So say no hatred for another race is prejudice, not racism. Racism is a system. Yes, racism is a system.
Correct.
No percent. I think most blacks are jealous of awesome white people. I don't know about that. Here's
Jealous
someone interesting.
Jealous of what? What am I jealous of? No.
There
Hold
you
on.
go.
No, time out.
Okay.
What am I jealous of?
I would love the list of awesome white people too. Who are these people? That's great.
Let me just break this up. What I'm jealous of, and I'll tell you my biggest jealousy. My biggest jealousy is that there's certain people in this world who have the ability to change this world tomorrow, and they don't. And that is across the board thing. We could end certain things tomorrow if we chose to. That is what I'm jealous of. To say that I'm jealous of white people, that's funny. Okay.
All right. Next comment. In America, 13% of the population commit 65 to 70% of all violent crimes. I don't know about that fact. You tend to look at them differently. Rich blacks live in white communities for a reason. That's not racist. That's common sense. I don't know about that statistic. I'd have to look on that.
There are many black people who have bought whole entire communities, who have a whole, who basically, I mean, let's look at it this way. Stone Mountain, Georgia was 4% black in 1992. It is 96% black in 2026. And it is a rich, thriving community. I don't know about that. So, okay. Hey, I don't know what 13%, whatever. Like, I'm thinking about certain places. You're thinking, I mean, if you want to say that blacks make up 13% of the whole population of the United States of America, that's true. There's probably not that many black people in Mudlick, Kentucky. That is actually a name, Mudlick, Kentucky. Or Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. We're probably not down there, but we exist. We are everywhere on this globe. And remember one thing, and I say this proudly, right? A lot of the things that America was built on came from the inventions and on the backs of black people. If we could not do the work for said United States or North America or the Caribbean or whatever you want to call us, they would not have tried to colonize us as much as they did. We did not ask to come. We didn't. Our ancestors did not ask to come. We were forced over here. I have been inside a slave dungeon. You can still smell death. You still feel something. It's undescribable. Anybody who's been in one can do whatever. I've been there. So I'm not just talking out of my what hole. You want to Ryan said something earlier when it came to mugs. I have one. Let me show you another one. If I wear anything with this logo on it, it unites me with people around the world. They don't even have to like me. But this, because this symbol means something to them. And if they're into sports, they're into football, they're like, here we go. I have people beeping the horn who have a Steelers logo on there, but a redneck flag as well too. And they're like, yeah! Because this to them means more. I'm in Cuba. I see a big, tall, shorter redneck. And the man literally went up to me and says, you're one big effer, aren't you? And we sat down and we talked for hours. And he white. But we talked about football. He literally thought I played for a team because he said I looked like somebody. And that was how the conversation started. Dr. Vibe and I have watched the NCAA Final Four, Sweet 16. And we sat down and talked about about basketball with people who did not look like us, probably could buy about 7 or 8 different teams cash. And we sat there and held court.
Hours. That was for hours. Wow.
So when it comes to
longest breakfast I've ever had.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And the thing is, it's not an envious thing. It's just a matter of, and I think this is probably the crux of this conversation. We should not ever in life have to ask why. We should never have to ask the question why. It's 2026 and we have to ask the question, why would somebody want to inflict pain on a Black woman for no reason? Why are we still dealing with the pain that a Black woman has to endure at the hands of a white man? We don't want to talk about that part. Why is a white man who just won something in life at a happy occasion for himself in front of a bunch of white people thinking that hard about a beautiful Black woman with 2 university degrees who has been happily married to the former 2-time president of the United States of America, who has 2 children going to school? I think I think both are graduated now, have they not? You know what I mean?
Not sure. I can find out.
But you had that much venom and vinegar and piss in your body that you had to spew out a negative comment to a Black woman. Why do you find the need to hurt a Black woman? And this Black woman has enough intestinal fortitude to suffer in silence. Again.
So,
okay. Followers of Jesus Christ should be embarrassed right now. That is what I can't understand. Like the Christian community should be the first, not just about what he said about Michelle Obama. Everything that came out of his mouth after he claimed to follow the teachings of Jesus Christ should embarrass anybody that claims to follow Jesus Christ as a Christian, because everything he said was not Christian-like. I can't for the life of me understand how more outrage isn't just about that. When you claim something like that, everything out of your mouth should have been positive, and it was the exact opposite. So it makes me think, like, is that what followers of Jesus Christ are supposed to be like? Because he's not a great representation for those. So I'm curious, those that say they follow Jesus Christ and would still defend anything that he said or him just as a person, That's who should be really embarrassed.
Okay, so just update Jonathan. I took a look. So both Malia and Sasha Obama have completed college, pursued their own interests, and largely avoid leveraging their famous family name.
Gotcha.
So if there wasn't the opening of that Obama Place Institute yesterday, you probably wouldn't have even heard about them.
Right.
Right. So they keep low key. They keep,
and I do apologize. I do have to hop.
No problem. We will see you.
Man.
Take care, my man. Be well.
Yes, I'll see you next week.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan.
All right. So more comments still filtering in, Juice Man. So let's see if we can attack some more comments here. All right. Here we got Happy Juneteenth Day. We should all celebrate, not put them down. Okay. Here's interesting. Why are Black people always crying and begging white men for reparations? I think that's a whole other show in itself. We'll leave it.
Can I quickly say
you can
something?
Do whatever you want.
If you hit my car, you want me to pay for it myself, or did you hit it? If you hit my car, I should pay for the damages for that? Just asking.
Okay.
If you did something to me, you paid the slave owners reparations for slavery, documented. The proof is there. You can't erase that. You went to the insurance company. Was it what's it something of London?
Lloyd's of London.
Lloyd's of London. For money from that horrific thing that happened. You want us to teach you about the history that you did to us. Okay. And you have X amount of trillions, billions of dollars to build missiles, bombs, all these other sort of things. But you can't help the people who literally gave you the filament for a light bulb, put people on the moon, gave you a traffic light, gave you popular music, fashion, education, heart transplants, blood plasma. I could go on and on and on and on. All gave you a street sweeper, made a cotton gin, the dripping cup, found different ways in which to use lye instead of making a thing that would clean a sewing machine, actually invented a relaxer for hair. These are just some of the things. The ironing board or the iron. Air conditioner. I can keep going.
Let's go. All right. Someone says the black church is failing. Another conversation. Someone's saying 47 doesn't like free speech unless it's about him. Another person saying they don't like hearing the truth. Another person saying, yes, let's just forgive. I don't know why someone would say this. These men are holding black people back. How? Another person here saying, let's get along as a great.
Who's holding who back?
That's a good question. I don't know what context. So when you're making comments, people, make it full. If you're talking about us, I do not think so.
Holding us back from what? What are we holding back from?
Yeah.
Holding
then we have someone here. Let's get along as a great country.
Is it that you think that we're holding you back from knocking you out? Is that it? Do you think we're going to be violent?
Don't know.
Is it that we're holding you back from?
You got to give us more. Make sure your comments give full context, people.
I have
a lot of times I read them and it's been minutes since what's been said you're responding to. So make them full. Someone says nobody thinks I don't like the term "you people." I don't like that. So you are villains. Your victim mentality is the problem. That could come up in a further. I think some people who have a victim mentality, we got to get out of that. Frequency of event promotion says juice men in general, people beside you, around you, and far away don't like progress. Sometimes it builds character, and other times it just does not make, quote, sense with a C, unquote, and they don't make pennies anymore.
Okay.
Another person saying why people are mad. What was said, Black comedians have said the same things for years. Interesting point. C Nurse K says people are so afraid if the playing field was actually leveled that they would not be doing as well as they are. That's why they don't want things to change. Here, change happens at the individual level. First, it is maintained by the family, then the community. If you want to change, it starts with the individual, then the next, then the next. I do agree first. It has to start with the individual first, 100%. Another person here, Black people do love to play the victim. Here says, where does it stop? How far back? Only to what benefits you?
I love these comments, mind you. These are beautiful.
Another person saying, in capital letters, no doubt, 47 could attack Michelle's comments, so they went after her looks. Everyone knows Melania is who can't measure up to Michelle. They hate the Obamas were classy. Another person saying Black people are not the only ones who helped build this country. How about you go fight in countries where there's still slavery happening? I don't know about that. That analogy is ridiculous because most of the crime has happened against Black women is at the hands of Black men. Most of the crime has happened amongst Black men is against Black men.
That is false.
Okay.
That is false. If you want to look at that, one second, if you want to look at that under a microscope, there are social economic conditions put on a group of people that would make such things so. If you look at it from, again, when you look at it one way, of course, you're going to be able to say, oh, they did this and they did that. But again, peel the onion. Peel the onion. Widen your scope. See why. See why. Because remember I said, once you ask the question, when you say why, ask why. We should never have to ask that question in life. But people want to dispute things from their narrative without turning the picture.
Okay.
Because I could then turn on it and say, how many white people end up dead at the hands of other white people?
Another person.
I mean, hey, they go into schools all the time and shoot up a bunch of people, right?
Yeah.
They go into nightclubs and shoot up a bunch of people, right? The Unabomber was trying to kill who? Come on, guy. You know what I mean? Like, again, don't do that. Don't do that.
So 9 million people don't hate you. Trust me, 90s, early 2000s, racism was nearly gone. Media and the rich don't want us together. Well, that would be a whole conversation. I don't even want to. I disagree. I'm not even going to go deep because we'd be on for 2 hours on that one. People are there. There's trash everywhere. It's not skin color. It's people. Someone saying Michelle's a billionaire. She doesn't care, man. Hokit wants views, etc. Why would a Black man want to hurt a white woman? It's on both sides. Here's someone early on we talked about the reparations, answering the same reason Jews got reparations from Germany. Again, I don't know if this is factual, but we put it up there. Most of the Black people here today in the United States were not here or do not have ancestors who were slaves. Most of the white people in their colored, most of the white and colored people were not here as well. I don't understand that comment. You need to clarify that for me. If your great grandparents' car was hit, do you expect someone today who hasn't hit the car to pay for it?
You know what's funny with life? There are people who are still collecting money for things that have happened hundreds of years ago on a daily basis. You know what I mean? People are still collecting money on that. And again, you could say what you want to say, and we could go back and forth. But one of the great things about life, and I say this, is people have a lot to say when they're behind a keyboard, and have absolutely nothing to say when they're in front of you.
Okay. Okay, I've got to see where we're at here, because there's been I just got to catch up, because, okay. No. Everyone's saying, I disagree. Reparations are stupid. Start working on your own self. You can't change the past. You can't fix the past. You can fix today, and you can fix the future.
Yeah, that's true. But in fixing the future, let's make the playing field, as someone said before, level.
Okay. Another person saying, does every Black person in America get reparations? Only the ones related to slaves.
Start there. Start there.
Okay.
But you know, the funny thing about life is that nobody wants to start.
It's interesting. Off story. A number of years ago, I'll make it really quick. I had a chance to see a gentleman named John Maxwell, really known for writing leadership books. And this story wouldn't happen today, but he came to where I live, Toronto. He was at a conference, so I went early, and I went, and this probably would not happen today. Went through the wrong door. It was actually to the backstage, and there was a security guard there. And about 15 feet away from where I was talking with him, there's John Maxwell sitting at a table. I said to the security guard, that's John Maxwell. He goes, yeah. I says, can I go see him? He said, sure. That wouldn't happen today. Right? So here I am chatting with him, and I said, John, you've written so many books on leadership. You've done this, you've done that. Like, how did you get started? And I was expecting some long, complex answer. He said, Dr. Vibe, I just started. There you go.
It. That's it. As I said, it doesn't have to be anything. Like, the funny thing is we live in Canada, and if those who've ever read the Indian Act and how Canada got the land, the Upper and Lower Canada, and all that other sort of stuff, man, if you want to talk about theft, if you want to talk about the way people thought, that is in black and white for you to see, it's incredible. And I'm not here, you know, I don't have all the answers to everything, but there has to be a start in repairing some communities, you know, not just taking down the signs or whitewashing it or whatever, or whatever, because you don't want to believe it exists. You don't want to, you don't want people to remember certain things. You know what I mean? There are people, and yes, it happened a long ago, and everybody wants to forget about it. But there's things in this country, Canada, there's things in the United States, America, that people remember and have spun a certain way to make it sound wonderful. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. It's Juneteenth today. And the reason why people celebrate it is because it took a whole other time for Black people in the South to find out they were free. So they had been working for free. You understand?
Okay.
Do you see the irony of that? Do you see the irony of that?
Okay.
Do you see the irony of that?
I hear you. Okay, I'm going to run through the rest of these comments. I don't think you got the rest of the day. We could go on all day because there are enough comments going on here. Like, I'm just trying to somewhat keep up. So let's go. Someone says Japanese got reparations from the U.S. during World War II. Another person says Irish were the first slaves in America. They were treated worse than black slaves. They cost less than what a black slave would have never. I never heard of an Irish person begging for reparations. Let me see here.
There are actually books written about that whole situation that I don't want to get into that conversation right now because there was a reason. There was a point in time in history where certain people were put against communities as leverage because, again, when we talk about white supremacy, that's a whole other conversation, but don't want to get into it right now. But there's a reason why certain things are the way they are to this day.
Okay. Someone says, I think they say I love, not I live. I love how the Obamas live rent-free in Mango, Mussolini, and Mama's heads. Another one. How were the Obamas not classic? Give me one instance besides a tan suit.
Oh, that Ronald Reagan wars were too?
I don't know. Violent crime is not a condition of your economic status. It's a mindset. Geez, there's so many, and we don't got the rest of the day to be on. Okay, let me. We may have to do a part. We're gonna have to do a part 2 of this. There's so many comments here. Like, here's a question: do your black friends live solely around white people? No.
No.
Yeah. Someone says it's easy to play Massa Shine Boy and collect the crumbs. When you actually operate a business in America, you know the reality. Okay. I don't know if these facts are true. Black on black homicide. The vast majority of homicides involving black victims are committed by black perpetrators. Where are you getting your facts from? Fact check. And then also someone could say, well, what about with non-melanated? Isn't that the same thing? Not saying. Geez. There is... Same person says white on black homicide. Homicides committed by white perpetrators against black victims account for notably smaller amount of fraction of total homicides. Historically, figure constitutes 8 to 9%. Ray saying the juice is correct about that, quote, old money, unquote. It's not lost, it's inherited. Let's see. There is so much.
Glad to make you mad this morning. You know what I mean? That all of a sudden,
Another person
hey.
saying, why not talk about the Obama Museum and the fact that businesses are going to bankrupt because they didn't get paid? You don't talk about that. Where's the facts on that? Haven't heard. Another person saying, every single race on the face of this earth has been enslaved by their own people. So keep quiet about all human slavery. Another person, America is old Jerusalem. You just know the Grand Canyon holds the secret to that. No fly zone. The swing. Okay, I don't understand that. Oh, so you're going to go after the other countries for reparations who sold you to other countries for slaves. Another person, I know how. I love how. Okay, we got that. We all are. No bloodline ever dies. So, folks, when you're putting in your comments, I don't always get a chance to put them in real time. So make sure they're as detailed as possible or referring to a comment. Someone's saying, this country owes us. The other person saying, a third of all of slave owners are black. I did not know that. There's another person saying, and I don't know if that's true or not, there's no way to make that playing field level. We all come to this world by the grace of God into whatever circumstances we come to. It's up to us to make the change that happens in our lives. Okay. Cedar's case says crime is related to proximity. Folks, please educate yourselves. The quote, black on black, unquote, crime argument He's getting old. Then again, I know it's just trolls that are typing rage bait. Another person saying to Larry, I guess, in the enslaved in America, slave owners were paid reparations, but never the slave. Then you stole farmland that we built on our own. So I knew this was going to come. You live in Canada, so don't talk about black people in America. You have no idea what goes on with black people in America. Well, we both talk to black people in America. So they're giving us their lived experience.
And to be honest with you, I was actually going to take a job in the States. I was there for a minute. I was offered a job in the States, and I chose not to take it.
Here's another person saying, it makes sense. He's Canadian because I thought he was autistic. That's not a nice thing to say.
Oh, that's good. Hey, if you know, hey, I have no problems with that. I have no problems on what you try to call me. None. And even with even with quote unquote, if I have autism or not, I'm still trying to make sense.
Another person saying there are more slaves today than ever were in America. If you hate slavery so much, focus your energy on the current slaves, not the slaves that died 150 years ago. Oh boy, there is so many. So folks, we are gonna someone saying Black Americans fought for their freedom. There's another person saying you stole people from Africa the same way you savagely colonized Africa. Quit with the quote, we sold ourselves, unquote, 2000 narrative, never taught in history class, quote, we sold ourselves, unquote. Like, we could go on all day. There is so much. There's person saying, I'm not trolling, I'm just bringing out the facts, I think we should all recognize what's going on in the community.
Which community?
There's you know what, we're gonna stop because there's so much going on here that I gotta be, you know, I when you give 2-word responses, please put it in reference of what was being said or you're referring to, because there's a comment here, still fighting what? So I need some more context, but I think we're gonna call it here.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Here's another comment saying, so blacks steal everything, including other people's history. Oh my. So another person saying 40 to 50 million slaves in the world today. I believe that's probably a correct fact worldwide, at least. Okay, some of these things. Yeah, this has just been a potpourri. Okay, so the past has happened. We have history. However, if we tend to focus on living in the past, we will never deal with what's going on today and how we shape our future. So you're of the point, this person is saying, focus on today, forward, not past. Let me see here. Another interesting comment saying, I suggest all black people represent their lineage and hold their colonizers accountable instead of speaking up people in other countries. Another person here saying African American descendants fought for the independence of the US and Canada. Juice Man.
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to wind it down unless you have the whole day to chat.
I do, but no, I won't. The funny thing is history excites me. The present gives me reason to want to continue, but the future is vast. The future is untold, and the future can ever be changing. I would love to live in a world where we don't need to talk about this stuff anymore at all. Like it's it's one of those things we say in ancient times we used to have these conversations, and that's one of the reasons why I'm such a Trekkie, because I love the fact that they put that aside. You know, they were able to put those things aside, and they wanted to go out in the stars. They wanted to see what else is out there. You know, deal with things, and world hunger. You know, um, will negative things still happen in the future? Of course. I mean, somebody back in the 1700s wasn't thinking that the world would be like this 300 years ago in what we have, you know. Um, the ability, I mean, I just turned 58 on Monday. And did I ever think I would ever see the world the way it is right now? We're in Canada, by the aspect of her office, was the most powerful person in Canada at one time. You know, the Governor General of Canada at one time was a Black woman. She was the most powerful woman in the country, if you understand history, even though there was still a white prime minister. Did I ever think in my life I would ever see a Black president of the United States of America? No. People, my cousins were taught, you know, hey, they can be anything. And there was a Black president. Now it's possible. There's a lot of things that I hope in my lifetime I'm able to see that are possible. I hope that we put an end to a lot of things that happen in this world. The problem is when people say these things about people, it does take us back into history. And that is one of the reasons why we are bringing it up in the first place. Because there was a time where, unfortunately, Black women were not considered people. They were chattel. And that's an issue. You understand what I'm saying, Dr. Vaughn? So, yeah, man, the trolls are out this morning because we said something that makes them want to troll. When we are talking about things that uplift people, they are very quiet. When we're talking about things that don't provoke thought in their way of thinking, they are very quiet. But yes, at times during this conversation, it felt like we were doing one of those period piece movies where you always have somebody saying, why can't y'all just stay quiet a bit? Why you always have to be with that stuff? Why are you all marching all the time and just doing what you got to do? I spent some time in the South. That's why I can do that accent very well.
All right. That is a wrap for today. I didn't think we'd go as long as we did, but we did. We could go longer if we wanted to. And there's still comments coming in. So we are.
Should we stick to a topic on how to make like chocolate chip cookies next week, or like
Don't, that's not gonna help. Sorry, I ain't gonna. No chocolate.
I'm just playing.
No problem. That's all good. Look, it's all good, folks. We'd like to stay on and interesting. So there's still a lot of comments going there. Way back. So some of these comments just going, okay, whatever. All right, so let's do this. If you want to go out a hold of Jonathan, there are ways. Easiest ways to go to his website. Jonathan, and that's JONATHANOSHAW.com. You can also catch him on live on the weekends on the Talk About show he hosts on Flow 98.7 on Sundays from 10 a.m. Eastern to 12 noon Eastern. Go to flow98.7.com and you can catch that live. If you want to get a hold of Mr. Knight, Ryan Oneil Knight, and that's Knight with a K and not an N. Myself, toplink.cc/the DRVIBESHOW.com. And you know what? You can watch replays of this show on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Afro Caribbean Business Network on YouTube, and Ryan Oneil Knight on YouTube. This, you see, the comments are still coming in, but family, we got things to do. So that's why you got to hang out with us on a regular basis and get a place where you can hang out with us every once in a while. So this is what we're going to do.
Dr.
Live your
Vibe,
life as a dream. What? Go ahead.
one quick thing. One quick thing.
Sure.
Can I say something? I don't have to agree with you, but I like that you took the time to say your
Yes.
opinion.
Yep.
I like
Most
the
valuable
fact,
thing we have in life is
I like
time.
I like the fact that we can debate. I like the fact that it doesn't get personal. We don't have to agree, but I like the fact that we can reason. Thank you.
I like this comment here. We can correct the past.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
So on
If you
that
want to.
note, pardon me?
If you want to.
That's if, yes, and just start if you're going to.
Exactly.
So as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time. Manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. But try to do both and make it better. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. While good, catch us on the weekend with Primetime Saturday tomorrow with Cesar Di Mamusa and Colin Job. And then on Sunday at 5 p.m. Happy Father's Day, by the way, to everybody out there. Whether you're a dad or almost every man is a dad in some way.
Correct.
So 5 p.m. Black Canada Talking on Sunday, then 8 p.m. Black Men Can Talk Sunday evening. And then on Monday, we're scheduled to talk about where are the humans in customer service these days. So make sure you catch that. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Walk good.